Hello everyone, my name is SuperCacti and welcome back to another LEGO video. So today I am bringing you a new LEGO set of mine. I took a little bit of a break from making LEGO sets. Yeah, sometimes you just get this, you want to do some other stuff. But we're back and we are back with something rather big. You're looking at the Char 2C in 1 in 35 scale. This originally this started with me and a group of other LEGO designing friends. We wanted to build this set together. But in the end, only I made the turret, and then I thought, well, I might as well just continue, right? So I asked them, it was fine, I continued on my own, and well, here we are. So let's first get the historical things out of the way, and please don't fall over. So the Char 2C, this is a French, well, heavy tank originally, but during World War II it was sort of reclassified as super heavy tank, mainly because of its enormous size. But this tank was built or designed, I should say, in 1917. But in reality, it did not actually. It was only like built during the 1920s, which World War One was already over by then. So it did not see any combat during World War One, for which it was designed. But it did do some sort of fighting during World War Two. Although only about 10 of these were made, they did not really manage to do anything significant. So they're armed with a 75 millimeter model 1897 howitzer in the front of the turret. Well, I say howitzer, but it's a rather big gun. You can call it cannon too if you want. And then on top of that, it has four 8 millimeter Hotchkiss MLE 1914 machine guns. So sort of like a World War One feel to it, with all the machine guns placed around the place. One of the machine guns of which is in a rear turret of its own. So it's sort of it's that super heavy tank design where they just put a machine gun turret up the rear just to make sure if any infantry were to flank it, they can stop the incoming infantry. I like having tanks with like a dedicated machine gun at the rear. It just looks funny. So let's get into the set. Quick little disclaimer or things I think I should clarify. These plates right here, don't worry about it. I forgot to order some new ones, so I had these leftovers. These were for like a little experiment, but the experiment failed. So no need to worry about that. But yeah, just ignore that. These are just supposed to be the regular 2x3 plates with a rounded thing and the studs on the top. So the set itself, it has 1205 parts. That is including the track links, and I believe it has about 190 track links. So you can do the math. It's still above 1,000 parts, which is very impressive, I must say. Mainly because of all the small little parts that are scattered all over the place. The size for this tank, the length is 29.8 centimeters. That is 11.7 inches. The width is 11.1 centimeters. That is 4.4 inches. And the height is 15.6 centimeters, which is 6.1 inches. Keep in mind that the height is mainly because of this antenna right here. The antenna is rather large. It's that standard, Lego antenna. I think you guys know which one that one is. But yeah, it is a rather large set. And if you compare this to something like a 1 in 45 scale Renault FT or some other small lighting, it's actually quite funny to have such a small thing standing next to it. I sadly don't have any of them, so I cannot do the comparison. But I do have a little minifigure to put next to it. Although it's a German soldier, I don't have any French soldiers right now. Maybe soon, later on. As for the price of this set, I did a little bit of checking. Remember, I am in the Netherlands, so prices may vary. But I came up with about 161 euros and 23 cents. But that is mainly not including shipping or anything else. So I think when you're looking at the total cost for the parts, it's about 200 euros. And in dollars, that is 192.72. Yeah, 192.72 dollars. Which again with shipping would be, I don't know, something around $210, $220. So yeah, it is rather pricey. That is what you get with these very large sets. I tried to stay away from rare colors of vehicles, so we would just have this tan and green camouflage scheme. If I did something like dark tan and dark green, then the price might have doubled, so let's honestly not do that. So let's actually get into the set. Now you already saw me driving around. It is one thing I really like. It's very smooth. The tracks run really well. They don't get stuck on anything. I am very happy with that. Now let's get the set a little bit closer. First, let's talk about the main turret. It can rotate all the way around, well, except not over the engine deck, of course, because it's so massive. The gun can go down a little bit. The gun can go up, just like this. But sadly, there's no interior to the turret. The turret was a little bit complex when it came to the shape. I wanted to get the entire shape of the turret, well, completely right, but yeah, it's an interesting turret to make. Also, something I did differently than what I do normally. Normally, I will be using the 2x2 plate turntables, but this time I thought I just used a round 4x4 brick and just slot that into a 4x4 hole, which I must say is quite nice. Main reason I did this is because on the inside, on the Char 2C in real life, there's no turret basket, so the people just sort of like move around as the turret rotates around. So I wanted to get this little platform in. You can just get a minifigure in there. If you just use your imagination, you can be like, well, yeah, he's standing in the turret. That's about the correct height. But yeah, I really wanted to make the turret hollow. Maybe somebody else can experiment with that. But yeah, hollow turret, I did not think it was really possible. Next thing we can remove is this little upper structure right here. There we go. Only I seem to have left behind one 1x3 brick. And what we can also remove while we're at it is this entire, goodbye antenna, this entire superstructure at the rear over here. There we go. And you can stay. And now we see the entire interior of the vehicle. When it came to the interior, it was a little bit annoying. There are not that many awesome photos of the interior, so I tried to stick to official blueprints, but when it came to like the rear and all that, I really couldn't find that much. But this is what I came up with. Let's first talk about the front. We've got the machine gun that is on the front as well. I should have probably showed that first, but yeah, there the machine gun is poking through, so you can have a crew member standing there. We have a little seat for the driver and a lever, and also this little, so like dials and whatnot for the driver as well. Along the sides, we've got the engines and the generators. And over here at the rear, we got another engine, sort of like the bar continues on in here. I thought it just, I don't know, added detail to it. And all the way at the rear, we've got another platform for the machine gunner. Again, use your imagination, like he's inside the machine gun, right? Also something, what we can do at the front here, if I rotate it all the way like this, you can see there are still some plates left there, or some studs, so you can get your minifigure in here, place him right on there, and now he's sort of like manning the machine gun. You cannot get the plates back up on the top though, it's not, I did not have enough room for that. You can also get a minifigure into the driver's seat, although it's a little bit specific with how the arms need to be rotated. But if you do it right, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get it right, but you can get a minifigure in there, only I am not capable of doing so. Well, whatever. He can get into the seat, you just have to get his left arm has to be in a rather specific point. But yeah, you can do it. Now speaking of that little machine gun I just talked about, let's actually have a look at that, because I decided to use some ball mount bar pieces, so they can move around a little bit. So this machine gun, it is rather limited, and I think I might have accidentally pushed one of these plates back. There we go, it was stuck on something. But yeah, as you can see, the machine gun can move around. Let me get the camera down a little bit. This one's rather limited in the angles it can go to, but yeah, it can move around a little bit. And these are the ones I'm very happy with. The machine guns right here on the side in between the tracks, they also have movement. I must say the tracks over here on the left side, you might have already saw it a little bit, but these plates right here, it's because of this hatch. Come on, get in there, tracks. It's because of this hatch. This is a very weak point in the side of the armor plate, so you can get this, when you move the machine gun around, it likes to fall off every now and then. So be a little bit more careful with that when you decide to play with it. On the other side though, the hatch is moved further towards the rear. It's over here now. So here the plates are much stronger. And again, we have a machine gun right here. There we go. Again, the machine guns can move all the way around the place. You can also get them more towards the left. When you do move it around, just sort of keep your thumb right here just to make sure you get it nicely in place where you want it to be, and then just leave it there. Now as for the tracks, I guess I'll point that one out too. There's a little bit of a suspension, you could say. I've got like some 3 long lift arms from Lego Technic, and they're sort of placed on these small little what are they called? The Lego Technique linker. So when you have the track running over here, if I can display it, it slightly moves up and down. It's just a small little detail. Like in real life, this whole thing from the rear all the way up to the front was just road wheels. There was not much of a suspension on this vehicle in real life. So I tried to sort of recreate having all those wheels with these little bars. You can see this little point right here. One problem I had earlier was that the track would basically slide all over the place, or it would just slide off the track, or off the tank. So I've got this small little point right here, which will keep the track sort of running in between it. And also at the on the other side, so we've got all these little plates and whatnot, keeping the track also sort of in line. But yeah, when you have it placed down, just make sure that the points, or that the tracks fall in between those points, and then you can just move it about perfectly. Let's get you back to this position. Let's put everything back on top of it. Let's get the camera back into position as well. So yeah, all these parts, they just slide right in. It's not a problem at all, really. I did break off the antenna in the process, and I do not see it. Oh, right there it is. Ah, well, it's not the end of the world. You know those Lego antennas, you bounce or you ram into them and exit them, and they just fly to Narnia. Now, one last thing I should probably show, just because I like it really a lot. The exhaust systems of this tank are actually on the rear deck, all the way on top. This was not the easiest thing to make, but I thought I used the what are these called? Well, the flexing or the flexible tube parts for this. And yeah, we've got these little exhausts right here up on the top. On the other side as well. Technically, these plates right here are radiators or ventilation things. I had to have these in 3x3 size, and they did not come with any sort of special prints or anything. So if you really wanted to, you could make your own stickers and put them on here. Just have like little radiators that would add to the detail of this vehicle. But I do not really do the whole custom parts or custom stickers thing. Well, not yet, maybe in the future. So right now it'll just be blank, just like this. I think it looks just fine. Now, as for the hatches, you can open them, but they are rather annoying to open. If you really wanted to open this one, and again, this side is very weak, keep that in mind, you're better off just taking the whole hatch out, moving this little modified tile with the thing on it, putting it back in, and now it's much easier to do. And yeah, it does go all the way to the inside. You can see a little driver's seat there. It's rather dark in there, of course, but yeah. You can open the hatches, but it's more of a display thing. If you really wanted to have it somewhere in the display case or whatever, or you wanted to have the crew do something, you could open one of the hatches. I recommend using the hatch on the other side because it's not as weak as this one right here. So yeah, that is about it, really. I think I've said pretty much everything I can say about this set. This was a lot of fun to make, actually. Mainly because I had to come up with many different ways of putting the whole set together, especially here on the front with these with the front wheels, how that was going to be connected, and the entire side plates. I'm very impressed and very happy with how this actually turned out. So hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Remember, I have a Patreon account. Any support would be much appreciated. I also added a new tier, which is just a tier for €1 a month. Normally the lowest one was €5 a month. But yeah, now we just have a €1 a month. Again, if you want to support me, be sure to do so. What do you get with my Patreon account? What do you get behind the scenes content? So while I was making this Char 2C, for example, I will be posting photos and renders and progress of this set on my Patreon account. I currently only have one subscriber, so he gets to see all the nitty-gritty behind the scenes stuff. If you want to see it as well, be sure to follow me there. Also in the future, I want to do more behind the scenes videos, which will only be available for the Patreon supporters. Until the set comes live, then the behind the scenes videos also go to the public. But yeah, it's just Patreon is just a way to see what I am working on, see the behind the scenes stuff, and just know what vehicles I'm going to make before anybody else knows. And also, if you want me to make a certain vehicle, you can always request it. I just have a little list of things that I want to make. I don't really have a consistent system. Like if you just want to request something, you can just do so, add it to the list, and when I want to make a new set, I'll just look at the list and feel like, well, do I want to make something big or large? And if you're lucky, I'll pick out the vehicle you requested. Anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.